The best of the best. Right across Australia. The best of the John Laws Week.
Another John Laws Week on the radio. You listen to the man with the golden microphone. You got it all. There were laughs, there was news, and a tear or two. There were good vibrations coming right through to you. Through your radio. This is what he said. This is what he did. This is why you laughed. This is why you cried. This is how Lawsy kept you in the know. It happened this week on the John Laws Morning Show. Australia.
Prime Minister is on the line. Prime Minister, good morning.
Good morning, John.
You've announced a plan to build a high-speed broadband network right across Australia. That's big news.
This is big news. It will deliver to 99% of the Australian population access to at least 12 megabits per second by June of 2009.
You're not going to change the first homeowners grant, huh?
There is a difficulty in adding to it because it will only result in the cost of housing going up by an equivalent amount.
There's a house on the market in Sydney, I heard this morning, $60 million.
Gee, 60 million.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Well, yeah, it sure is. It's beyond our reach, mate.
You're right on the money there. If you're not going to double the first homeowners grant, what about?
I don't think it would help with the $60 million.
No, it wouldn't help a lot.
You're listening to the best of the Lawsy Week.
You'll be very happy to hear that Paris Hilton was deemed stable enough to transfer from the jail hospital back to the county jail. She's still in the medical wing being evaluated for fear that she might not be able to handle the cell she was in before and might deteriorate enough to have to go back to the hospital. But her condition is stable enough that she's been upgraded from hysterical bitch to whining, attention-seeking little slut. Fatal shooting in central Melbourne. Friends and family are paying great tribute to the father of three who died. It's tragic. He was just simply trying to help a woman in distress. The bikie is a fellow called Christopher Wayne Hudson. We're still not quite sure why he was dragging a former Sydney model from a taxi by the hair. Brendan Keeler was passing by on his way to work at a city law firm and he tried to help. Witnesses say this fellow Hudson let K.R. Douglas go, pulled out a handgun, opened fire. And poor Mr. Keeler was hit in the head, died right at the scene. From Melbourne, our 3AW outlet is Paul Bentley. The fellow is obviously well known. I presume that people in the nightclub knew him. Was there anything extraordinary about his behaviour while he was in the club?
Apparently not, other than he was seen to go in and out of the nightclub quite a few times, but nothing more sinister than that from what we understand. And it wasn't until he assaulted the girl outside the nightclub that there was any sign of trouble from what we can tell.
Melbourne, that runaway Hell's Angel will front court. He surrendered to police late yesterday, charged last night after questioning, and I think he probably surrendered to the police because his dad asked him to do so.
It happened this week on the John Laws Morning Show.
Samantha, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Mr. Laws.
How are you, darling?
Good, thanks.
How old are you?
12.
12? Well, that's lovely to have a 12-year-old listener. Why do you listen?
Oh, I just like it.
Do you? What do you like about it?
Everything.
Everything?
Yes.
You like the music?
Yep.
Sweetheart, are you a reader? Do you read much?
Yeah, I love to read.
You love to read?
Yep.
That's good. What sort of things do you read?
Everything.
Anything you can get?
Yep.
I'd better send you some books then, huh?
Thank you.
Are you reading something at the minute?
A few years ago, you sent me a book called The Secret Garden.
Oh, yes. Did you love The Secret Garden?
I loved it.
You must have been very little when I sent you The Secret Garden.
Yep.
And you're still there listening, aren't you? Just wonderful. I think that's sweet of you. Let me I'll try and find a couple of books for you because I've got a couple of nice editions. I was looking in the library at home the other day and I've got a couple of nice editions that are nicely bound and things that I think you'll enjoy. Was The Secret Garden nicely bound or was it a paperback or something?
It was a paperback one.
Yeah, I'll send you a book couple of books that you can put in your little library, and then when you grow up and you have children, you can tell your children to read the same books because they'll still be just as fascinating then as they are now.
Thank you.
Okay, darling, it's lovely to hear from you, Samantha. I think you're a sweet girl. That's the girl.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling, Samantha. Dearest child, she really is just sweet, polite little girl.
Lawsy in the morning.
Morning, Phil.
I'd just like to express my disgust at the footage that was released on the news last night of the Black Hawk crash.
It was sickening.
I was in the crash, and I was one of the crew members on it.
On the ship or the helicopter?
On the helicopter.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah. And I managed to survive. I was one of the ones that got out at about 30 metres under the water. But we've been trying to see the footage since then and been denied. And then the first time you see it is when it sit down and have dinner and it pops up on the news.
Yeah,
I thought that was a bit disgusting as well.
Yeah, well, I can imagine that it would come as a shock to you. That must have been a terrifying experience.
We didn't realise the tail had gone at first. It was a lot rougher than I'd expected. I've been flying in those for a while now. And you imagine what it could be like. It's a lot worse than what you think it could be, that's for sure.
Yeah, was it difficult to get out, Phil?
It was in my position, yes. I was on the left-hand side. When it hit the water, the left-hand side went to the bottom.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of get out underneath it and then back up again. And it sank very fast.
It must have been a frightening experience.
Was it the scariest thing of my life, that's for sure.
This is the best of the Lawsy Week.
Now, all you've got to do is purchase any pack of Victoria coffee or Victoria Chocochino from a Woolworths supermarket today. Competition number, which we've got to give you for some idiotic government reason, is TPL 073743. Now, do you feel more comfortable about it all? I mean, all this absolute bull we've got to go on with is just amazing. Because we want to give a coffee. I wonder how many people work in the TPL 073743 department of the New South Wales state government. How many bludgers are sitting up there on their backside handing out numbers? Because we want to do something nice and give an espresso machine away. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's like payroll tax. What a terrific tax. You've employed another man. We're going to tax you. Clever, isn't it? Here we are giving work to other Australians, so the government makes us pay a tax because we gave somebody a job. Wonderful world, isn't it, huh?
Lawsy in the morning.
I have a book in my hand here that I'm sure is going to be intriguing. It is billed as an amazing true story of courage under fire. It's called Barefoot Soldier, Johnson B. Harry VC. And the young man sitting opposite me now is that very young man who's won that VC. And I'm happy to be able to talk to a VC winner, Johnson B. Harry. Johnson, good morning.
Morning to you.
Tell me, in your terms, how you won a VC.
Two separate acts of bravery. 1st of May 2004, we had a foot patrol on the ground and the foot patrol come under contact. Someone gets shot and we get called out to assist them. The vehicle get hit by a rocket propelled grenade. So what I did, I moved forward slightly, just about 3 meters, just to get out of that line of fire. I get hit again. I get hit about 6 times before I realized that there is nothing else to do more than to try and break through that ambush. So now I'm driving down the road, Basra Street, with no cover from my waist upwards, sticking out to the enemy, still under enemy fire. And I get out of the vehicle to check what happened to my commander, my gunner, and the guys at the back. But we were still under fire, so I couldn't just go on top of the vehicle. So what I did, I lie on the front and wait for the fire to cease, but it wasn't ceasing. So I just get up and I went straight on the top of the vehicle. Lie down on the top of the vehicle, and the first person I saw was the commander. And I touched him on top of the helmet. I said, "Boss, are you okay?" I didn't get any response. So I just pick him up by the helmet, put him on my back and carry him down, put him into a vehicle, go back on top of the vehicle again, get the gunner out, bring him into our next vehicle.
All the time under fire?
Under fire. He had 4 guys at the back, get them out, put them in a vehicle. I went back into the burning vehicle and drive it towards camp. I drive about just under a mile when I realized that I couldn't drive the vehicle anymore, it's going to blow up. So I stopped, and the commander in front of me, when I tell him that I couldn't drive the vehicle anymore, it's going to blow up, he said to me to take the vehicle back where we just come from. I turned the vehicle around and I head back to that compound where we just come from. On the way there, I was thinking, if I take the vehicle into the compound, we have a company of guys inside that compound, and the vehicle, if it blow up, everyone would die. So what I did, I stopped short from the building where we have a sanger, a guard box. I parked the vehicle on the side of it, hoping that if the vehicle blow up, that he's going to take the blast. I went back on top of the vehicle. I disabled the weapon system. I went back in the driver's seat again, disabled the vehicle so the enemy can't move the vehicle. Then I went and sit in the next vehicle. And all I remember, in about 30 seconds, someone was saying to me, stay with them, be Harry, stay with me. Next thing I know, I was flying. Passed out.
You've got a hell of a scar right across your head.
This scar across my head is from the second incident, 6 weeks after the first one. The first one, I get shot in my head with a 7.62. I didn't know I get shot till the next day. But I said to the commander that the guys needed me. I don't have nothing to go back to in the UK, so I'm going to stay. So they give me 5 weeks off. I take 1 day. and I carry on walking because I knew the guys needed me. 6 weeks after that is the second incident where the camp get martyred and we went out looking for the insurgent. And just about 0.3 miles from camp, insurgent fire a rocky purple grenade at the vehicle, and the rocky purple grenade detonated 6 inches from my face, and that's when my face smashed and I went in a coma. I still managed to reverse the vehicle out of the contact. I don't know how I did it, but by doing that I still managed to save 10 more soldiers.
The best of Lords.